Let's see if it goes up. Whoop, whoop. Oh, my word. Someone's in Australia. Does yours go up?
Not yet.
Nope, not yet. Hey,
There it is.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Taboo Book Club. Oh my gosh, we're so excited this is happening. I feel like someone's gonna like come in and yell at me or something. Like I'm gonna get in trouble for talking about these. There's nobody to get mad at me. Hey everybody, let's see who joins us. Hey Lynn. Hey Stella. Oh my gosh, we're happy you're here. This is gonna be so much fun. I've read, it's funny too, like I love having Taboo Book Club, but it just has made me read like the month of August, probably like half of my books were like Taboo. I was like, oh, I have a reason. I'm doing research now.
Doing research, what, for the next picks?
Right, for the next. I was like, what are all my favorite taboo tropes? We're gonna do them all. So excited. So before we like do that, how many people read the book? Let's like sound off in the
books. Which books did you read?
Yeah, did you read both of them? Reading him, awesome. I actually have a copy of him.
Other side. That
I annotated. Oops, I know. It's like dragging behind too. Which I like annotated when I did a reread for it. Let's see. Read both. Cool. Okay. Well, this will be good then because I actually prepared a little bit because I'm anal retentive that way. If you join my Beast of Bestwick one, you know I like make questions ahead of time and share them so that we have talking points. Well, the problem is I get derailed too easily. So it isn't a thing so much to keep other people on track. It's because I would just run in circles screaming about romance and not be focused on anything. But well, I think you both know who we are. I don't know that we need to do intro since it literally says our name and what channel we're from right on the screen. You have joined our Discord. You've been interacting with us. But Tamika, how was this? Can you believe we did this?
I love it. I'm so happy we did this. When I got the idea and messaged you, I was like, this has to happen. We have to do this. This is going to be the best idea ever. So I'm so happy we got the first month done, and I can't wait to read next month's.
Yeah, we like put this together within like an hour, I feel like.
Yeah, it was I think it was less than an hour because like I messaged you and you were like on it.
Yeah, I messaged you and you're like, well, what do you want to pick? Like pick a trope, pick a time, let's go. And then you were like, here, I made art. And I was like, okay, I'm filming a video. I'm filming it right now. Let's do it. Because I was just like, there's no reason to wait, especially since it's just the two of us like planning it. I was like, let's do it. But, well, looks like like, I mean, I'm surprised as many people like joined to watch it live. I wasn't sure that should be a good discussion. But okay, well, we'll kind of like work through our questions. Our chatting points, and we'll see what you guys have to say about it too. And then at the end of this, we're going to announce the taboo trope for next month, as well as all the info about that. So we're excited. We were chatting before we started. It was fun. So let's talk about what our trope is and like why it's taboo and should it be taboo. That's kind of how I broke this down. Not that there's a should or would or could, but what was our trope, Tamika?
It was best friend's dad romances. Mm-hmm. I love this trope, even how I felt about both of these books.
Right.
So
there's some of the feelings coming out already. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. I think we went about like choosing our books a little like differently too. Whereas like you were just like, you wanted to pick ones on your TBR that you want to read, right? And I was more like, I want to talk about books I have read because not a lot of people read the same taboo books as me, so I don't get to talk about them. So that's kind of where I came from picking my pick, is that nobody was reading it. And so I was like, well, I'm going to pick this because then there'll be like 10 people at least who read it and we can talk about it. So for you, you didn't have any foreknowledge of if you would like them or not.
Yeah. For both of them.
Yeah. So what is it about this that makes it taboo? And like, I don't know how we talk about that, but I mean, generally this is a form of the age gap trope, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like transgender to sometimes it can get a little bit daddy kink in there too sometimes, which we also love and is fun. But I consider, especially some taboos that we will get to, that this one is definitely not as taboo as some, right? Because this is mostly just because of the age gap.
Yeah, I would say that this one falls taboo specifically because of the age gap, but also because you're not just thinking about the age gap or the fact that they're like that much older than you, but you're also thinking about how that person that you care about would like feel. It's literally what Lynn said.
Yeah,
So
I know. Like Lynn saying it.
yeah, Lynn, she got it. It's
Yeah.
good. Lynn, you
Yeah.
got it.
And sometimes like with both of the picks for this one, the kids didn't grow up around their dads.
Yeah.
So there's not really the taboo part that is with like a stepdad where like they watched you grow up. And so there may be parental feelings and then to have romantic feelings come in. In both of these picks, the kids hadn't been around their dad. So it's more of the societal taboo of this is your daughter's friend.
Yeah.
Because you weren't like a parent to them. You know, it's not one where like you took them to soccer practice together or you were at their ballet recitals together. They didn't even, one of them didn't even know their dad at all. Like you don't even know that this was your friend's dad, which was cherry bomb. Like they didn't even know about that. Lynn has more to say because Lynn's the coolest. An age gap definitely shouldn't be taboo, only if you bring in things like a power dynamic like a teacher or if the younger person is underage. Yes, I agree. I agree that age gap is what I consider the tamest of taboo. And I definitely have had people on my channel who are like, I want to get into like darker romances. How do I do it? And I was like, well, a good place to start is an age gap that's not, you know, start with where it's like a May-December romance, but there's nothing else in it. Like if you want to start and see if you like that. Because what makes it taboo is usually other people judging you. So.
Yeah, and that's what I recommend too. If you're not really into taboo or you're not really into dark romance or anything like that, that's where I always recommend people start. Like I always recommend Birthday Girl because I feel like it's so tame.
It is.
It gives people like a taste of what you can like maybe expect.
Yeah, that is so true because that was my first age gap that wasn't a fantasy or something, right? Because those don't count. And I was like, ooh, this is so bad. And now I'm just like, that's just cute. Like, that's just cute. That's hilarious. Let's see. Chicks Rules says, I'm reading the age gap. We're 18 to 32. Yeah, that's not even to me, that one's not even like a big one. I guess that's a question too of like one of the things too with like dad's best friend's dad is usually you're looking at a pretty big age gap too if you have kids that are the same age.
Yeah.
Because the actual term, well, for what romance readers decide, like an age gap is anything that's like 5 years or more. And generally the younger the people are, the bigger the age gap is a deal. Like you can have an age gap where like I was just reading it, Hot House Flower, which is Reich and Daisy. She's 18 and he's 25, but he's known her since she was 14. So it's like the age gap is a big deal because he's known her as a kid. But really a 7-year age gap, if they were 23 and 30, we probably wouldn't even think of it as an age gap.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with like best friend's dad, he has a kid the same age as you. So let's see what some of the other comments are. For me to be taboo, it has to be taboo. Like the book Forbidden or In the Blood. The same with the trope Forbidden. It has to be so forbidden. Not like boss and employee. That's vanilla. That's true. That's true. See that. Does drive me a little bit nuts when the whole conflict is other people's opinions about the relationship. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And that with that relationship, yeah, it's always we're keeping it a secret. And is that person going to accidentally find out? Like that's how it happens in every single one of these. They never sit down and tell them together. Like it's always accidentally finding out.
Yeah, I would love to see one where they like actually they sit down and they're like, "Hi, this is what we're doing. Deal with it," and not have them accidentally walk in on it.
Yeah, I definitely have read. I mean, it wasn't this one, but an age gap where they do. There was even a stepbrother one where they do. They sit down and tell, but I can't remember the name off the top of my head. And I was like, oh my gosh, instant favorite that you didn't get caught kissing or people just figured out. Wait, Lynn, what did you say? I'm not okay. Here's the thing. I'm not reading Forbidden, Lynn.
I just was telling her to read it.
I refuse, Lynn. I love you. I will read most of your recommendations, but I already know what happens in that book, my dear, and I refuse the pain. I'm sorry.
Lynn, I was literally telling her before the live show started about how good the book was.
I will not. I love you. It's not happening. My in-laws have a 15-year age gap. They met in their mid-20s and 40s. My stepmother-in-law is only 10 years older than me. Nice. Good for them.
My family has a lot of age gaps too.
Yeah. Well, okay. So one of the stories I meant to tell, sorry, I was going to tell us at the top, is that one of the unique things about me is when I was 20, my parents got divorced and they got remarried to each other 18 months later on their anniversary. And my parents got back together. They're a true second-hand romance. But during that 18 months that they were divorced, my dad dated a woman who was 27 when I was 20. And it was weird. And I'm very glad that my mom came to her senses and was like, no, if you're going to marry someone again, you're going to marry me. And we shouldn't have got divorced in the first place. So, but for that little bit, I was almost at a point where I was going to have a stepmother who was 7 years older than me. And that wouldn't have been fun. Let's see. Kay Webster did an awesome series called Taboo Treats. Yes, I have read. We've read a bunch of those. I'm sure some of those books will come up in the future in Taboo too, because she does kind of like all the taboos. Like if there's a taboo, Kay Webster has tabooed it and made it a thing. I just always want her to write more. Geez, she's so good. Let's see. Any other things about... Okay. Yeah. Again, like we said, this is one of the more tame taboo things that there is. So there's not like, it's obvious why it's taboo, but it's also one that as long as everybody is over 18, there's nothing really like wrong with it besides people's perceptions of it. So yeah, all of the angst would be lost if they sat down. That's true. You say Coralie, sorry if I said your name wrong. Yes, that's true. That's true in a lot of books. And I talked about this in one of my recent videos where like, I hate the miscommunication trope, but I think we hate the miscommunication trope because it's too real for us. Like we want people in books to be better than we are and smarter than we are. And if we would just sit down and talk about our problems, there would be no story. But when so I'm okay with miscommunication sometimes. And I think in regards to these kind of taboos, like you're not just going to sit down and talk about it because people might point out some valid issues. So a lot of times in taboo romances, people are waiting to see if it's going to last first. They're waiting to see like, is this more than us just needing to fuck do we just need to fuck it out and then we'll be done, which they never are just done because it's a romance. But are they just needing to get it out of their system before they tell everyone and ruin everything? Like to me in this kind of situation, I see why you would wait, but also you're risking people finding out when you have sex when the other person's there. Like that's always funny to me when you're like, you're really worried about this relationship and then you're having sex in the other room while your daughter's like passed out. And I'm like, you think she's not going to hear what's going on? Heather, hey girl. It always especially kills me when the taboo couple is actually a really good and healthy relationship, and then their loved ones can't get over their automatic reaction. Yes. And that's a lot how I feel about the couple in Him, which we're going to get to these now. So now that we've talked about why it's taboo, this isn't as productive of questions for this books, again, because they're not like that crazy. But let's go ahead. We're going to start with Cherry Bomb. And I read this pretty much as soon as Tamika picked it, so I don't remember it as well. But I only gave it 3 stars, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. So I'm going to let Tamika do the, overview, and then we'll get into that one.
So spoilers too, or just what the premise is?
Yeah, well, we can talk about all of it because the people here know that they had to have read that or they're going to be spoiled for it. So
okay.
Just tell the review and go into your feelings, and then I'll do mine.
Okay, so Cherry Bomb is about this girl named Cherry. And she has a one-night stand with her best friend's dad, but she doesn't know that he's her best friend's dad. So her best friend and her dad, I think, is her name Arden? I don't know. The best friend's name, couldn't remember. Anyway, they've never had a relationship. So, and she doesn't really want one. She goes from calling him her sperm donor, just his name, and then a bunch of other stuff. So she does not care about him at all. She does not want anything to do with him.
Yeah.
And they decide to keep having a relationship because they like to bang it out. And that's my premise of it.
That is pretty much what happened.
They just like to bang it out.
Yeah. Well, and because she hadn't met him, right? That was the whole point of it, is that
she was met at all.
Yeah, because they were going to meet. And so he was saying to her, oh, I have something I have to do tomorrow, but we can meet up again later. And her friend was like, I'm going to go meet him. You should come with or be watching in case he's creepy or whatever.
Well, she gets them to rearrange their dinner date so that they can so that she can be their hostess and spill something on her, so she has to leave.
Okay.
And then they saw each other, and then what's her name again? Cherry? Jesus, I can't even remember. She what was I gonna say? Who knows? This is a prime example of Tamika forgetting everything she was gonna say. She just goes with it and makes the decision for him not to tell. I'm pretty sure her name is Arden. Who knows?
Yeah, Lynn said she was. Lynn knows.
Bless you, Lynn.
Lynn knows everything.
I'm great at this book club thing.
Yep. Hey, it's our first time, and you admitted you weren't as happy about these ones as you hoped you would.
Oh, I'm so sad about it.
So, next month, I'll also not read the book as early as I did. That was partly my fault because I was excited. So I read the book in the first 2 days that she picked it because I'd already read Him, and I did reread Him for this. But see, there we go. Lynn knows all the names. You're great. And also, I'll take it. I'm reading a book that short. That's a thing too, because we were kind of bitching about this before the live, as well as when we're messaging on Instagram. That's where Tamika and I talk all the time. Is I don't like how short some of these are, which I know is the point. And a lot of people love short, dirty novellas that are taboo. They like when it's quick. That's fun. Well, I equally like sexy times and stuff as much as story. And I feel like these characters weren't built up at all. They were pretty one-dimensional for me. So I didn't even care if the daughter found out in a hard way. And I know Stella said she's the way the daughter found out wasn't cool. I didn't have any loyalty to any of these people. Whereas with Him, I did, because it's longer and people were more fleshed out. Go ahead.
Sorry. I really liked Cherry, but Cash was just I felt like he didn't have any development. And then I felt like Arden was a brat, and not the good kind of brat, just an annoying, I can't stand you, go away. And yeah. I think that if every character would have been like Cherry, for me, I would have loved this book. But it's just, I didn't feel any connection to any of them but Cherry, and even Cherry pissed me off because she was an idiot.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, there should be loyalty to a friend over, because again, it's like, it isn't like with him where we'll get into it where the friend has done a lot of things to hurt her. It just, this all happens really fast. And then you're like picking the guy you're like sleeping with over your friend.
I don't understand why she didn't just tell her to begin with and be like, hey, I know this is your dad and like, and whatever, but this is what happened. And what is it?
I was like, she should have been like, that's the guy that I had sex with last night, you know, like that.
Yeah, she could have just been open and been like, hey, this is the thing that happened. I still want to keep doing it. Is it going to weird you out? And like, honestly, I don't think Arden would have like had an issue if she would have been upfront in the beginning about it.
Oh, Charles, did you read these books, Charles? Or are you just here for the tea? Because I'm fine with either one, but I didn't know you were reading these. You're awesome. I just see him jumping on here. I was like, I didn't know you were reading these. I've been happy you just show up too. I didn't mind Cherry Bomb. At first, I thought it was going to be bad, and then I warmed up to it. That's fair. 3 stars. I mean, 3 stars is what I gave it. But 3 stars for a romance for me is pretty bad. Like 3 stars for a fantasy just means it didn't hit. But I'm a 4 or a 5. Like I don't do that. So when a romance gets a 3 from me, it's like not good. It means I finished it and I don't hate it, but I'm not as nuanced as some people are. Stella said the daughters in both books were brats. I wanted to slap them, or maybe I'm just old.
I wanted to slap them too.
Yeah, and that's something that I've seen more in like best friend's dad, is that to make it sympathetic or to put those people in the right, they make the family members really horrible. And I mean, I think that's gonna be a lot of the people who like have problems with him. I think that's gonna be your problems too. And I don't like that. I'm like, that is just like lazy plot reasoning. In my point is, you're like, oh, well, they'll hate us if they find out. And it's like, why is that like a good enough reason to not tell someone who you've loved for so long? Like you've been best friends for how long? And because you're scared, it's like not a good enough reason. I don't know. Were there some things you like really liked besides Cherry? We should have, how was the sex in this? There we go. That's something to talk about.
It's interesting.
How was the sex? You talk about the dynamic in the sex, Tamika, because I think you have some opinions.
So at first I was like not sure about it, because if you haven't read the book, this is the time where I'm telling you this is no joke, all the spoilers.
I've already said that. I put it in.
Why did he stick a strawberry in her vagina?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Why? Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Did he eat it or did she eat it? I can't remember. One of them ate it.
Oh yeah.
It was a choice.
I think they both ate one. Wasn't there one for him and one for her?
Okay, well, they both ate a strawberry that was in her vagina, and I just don't understand the reasoning behind it.
I don't know what makes it different than just licking off your fingers, but it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me do you remember during one of our live shows for the romance book club? Nice, Stella put strawberries on there. Where there was the thing about the was it the cannoli? Like they use the cannoli for something. Were you at that one? It was for one of our live shows for a readathon. It might have been the Light versus Dark, where there was a book where like they use a cannoli. He like wiped up her stuff with a. Anyway, food down there is just weird for me. Like it's one thing like if you're dripping sauce or things like that can be hot, but to actually like scoop it up with the berry and like eat it, I don't know why.
It didn't do it for me. I'll just say that.
Fingers are fine with me. Like licking it off something's great. Like that's hot, but the strawberry just, I take it as that was a bold move. Like I'll say that. Like that was a bold move.
I respect it. I just don't understand why she did it.
Yeah, I feel like it should have been a cherry. That's a good one. Like if you're gonna use a food, why don't you use a cherry? Since she's or put it in her belly button. I don't know. It was just weird. Here, let me scoop your cum and eat it off a berry. Like, okay. Okay. Hey, this is Taboo Book Club. We're talking about everything. I have no plans for these videos to be monetized. We're going to say whatever we want, and I want to talk about it. Because
I'm pissed there wasn't enough daddy kink in this.
there we go. Here we go. The sex was pretty hot. I found it a bit weird that the author kind of hinted at dominance and daddy kink, but didn't really go there. Yes. And this has to do with the thing of like, I get it if they didn't want to go into like full complex, like that relationship, because maybe they're not, but then just don't call it that. Because I don't think every time someone calls someone daddy, that has to be daddy. Like, I don't think it's full on daddy kink just if you're in the sack and you say daddy. Like,
yeah, I think that there's and I'm fine with it just being that she just called him daddy, but it only happened like 2 times.
mm-hmm.
And I just didn't think that it happened enough. You can see the country's really coming out today when I get aggravated. I am very sorry for
everyone. I love it. You know, I'm here for it. I just end up being the Nick and I look like a jerk, but okay. Any other thoughts on this? I mean, yeah, sex was pretty hot. I mean, again, I'll read anything once. Like, there being a strawberry didn't throw me out of it or anything. I was just like,
yeah, it didn't like kick me off the story, but it was just like, it made me pause for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, it's not any weirder than necromancer sex, okay? So,
no,
it's food.
No.
Weirder things, like, I don't know. But I just always think of like the practical sides of. So one of the things I really like. This is a side note. My friend Bree, finally read Dark Notes, which was one of my favorite. It was my first ever student teacher book, and I love it. And she gets a bladder infection in this book because I've been having sex all the fucking time, and I love it. I love that. I love when it's not sexy. It's not fun that you have to like take a break from the sex because this happened or like for someone's period or whatever, but it's real. It just totally made the characters that much more even. Like, he's like, I told you that you need to be doing this or whatever. And she was like, well, it's your fault because you just keep it, and like, I find that so real and like fun. So then when I see stuff where people are like using food in places doing that, I was like, that's not sanitary.
Yeah.
And
that's
like, it's hot in the moment, but then when you get like, what if you get like strawberry seeds in places and you get a,
infection?
Yeah. Like that's going to ruin your sexy times when you got to put cream on it or something and drink your cranberry juice. I don't know. So anyway, I know.
How did you feel about the reveal on how Arden found out about them?
Yeah. I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll just give you a replay.
It wasn't good.
We're not going to worry about me. Can we not drive really fast? Can you hear the trucks outside my house?
I heard it for a second. It's fine.
Okay, well, do you need an instant replay on how she found out?
Just tell me. It's fine. Okay. You didn't even finish my book, so
listen, you can tell me all about it.
That's why I'm teasing. It's fine. I don't remember. You did read it.
So, they do at her birthday party, and he like comes inside of her, and then he like plays with it and like pushes it back in her or whatever, and Arden walks in and like she watches all of that.
Yep,
that's what she does. And I'm just like, Jesus
Christ. Yep. I've read another book too where she gets surprised when she's giving him a blowjob, and so he like comes on her face in front of her brother-in-law. That happens in the Calloway Sisters series. But I forgot about it. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, bodily fluids, aren't they fun?
It's awkward. I don't understand why people still use that and think that it's like new and inventive and like, oh, no one's ever done this before.
Yeah.
It just makes me worry that it's like, I don't know, like the author doesn't read enough of the genre to know that that's something that's in there often. It's so disappointing.
Yes. Nice. Very typical how they find out. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a complaint I had. A big one that I had.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's 2 main ways that people find out. Either they walk in on a sexual experience or they are already suspecting something And so they say something and then the person admits it and then they're like, well, now I know because you just admitted it. Like those are the two ways like people find out. Either they see it happening or they think something's happening and you have denied it to them like 5 times and then they find out. Like, I mean, yeah, it is cringe. It is cringe. It wasn't a good moment. It's not fun.
Was not a fan.
Yeah. It was a thing. But yeah. So what was your rating for it? I don't remember.
I gave it a 3.5 because even though some of the stuff pissed me off and I wanted more character development, I still enjoyed reading it enough that I would tell other people if they wanted something short and smutty and like that was it, I'd still tell them to read it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and it's a great one for the trope. Yeah, and that's something we were discussing too, because one of the things we want to start doing with Taboo Book Club is that each month we'll like read 2, and then we'll also suggest to you a bunch within this trope. We'll each try to make a recommendation video with either books we want to read within the trope or we have read. And this one was really hard to find. So I would love if any of you guys want to share, because when we looked up best friend's dad, we found a lot of dad's best friend, which are different. They are different because when it's your dad's best friend, that's a bit of a more intense situation because you're dealing with 2 guys who have a bro code, who are, you know, friends, and then you find out that you're screwing their daughter and they're going to kill you. Instead of like when it's your best friend's dad, you may be ruining a friendship, which is still nothing to sneeze at, but not the same dynamic. And so we only found one other book that is a best friend's dad.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
It was Off Limits by J.L. Beck.
Well, and Devram's Court too.
Oh yeah, I have that one. Hold on. Here it is. Brianna Hill. Are we surprised? I found an excuse to talk about Brianna Hill.
Yeah, nobody's surprised. Nobody's surprised. But Off Limits, I haven't read.
I haven't read either.
Yeah. So these are, I have read, we've both read Devram's Court. But otherwise, all the other ones I found are dad's best friend. So any recommendations you guys have for those, please share them in here or in the Taboo Book Club Discord section. Oh, yes. Okay, I lied, Claire. I have read that one. I forgot if they were friends or was he the neighbor? You must be right. I have read this, Dreams of 18. So that one's very interesting to Mika because she makes a move on him when she's still underage. And so it causes him to like move away because it like someone catches him when she jumped on him and kisses him, and then someone sees and like he gets in trouble because he's the adult and she's 17, and so he moves away. And when she's over 18, she goes to find him and ask forgiveness, and he's going to punish her. Mr. Black series by Shanora Williams.
I love Shanora Williams. I am definitely going to look at that one because her Mr. Kane series is so good.
Yeah, because Mr. Kane is dad's best friend. Mm-hmm. And I've read that one too. I loved that one. Cool, Mr. Black.
Hold on, I'm screenshotting that, Jen. Oh no, you made it go away.
I know.
Thank you.
It's gonna be in the comments. I'm gonna make a list of these. Cool. I like Shanora Williams. That's cool. Okay, cool. All right. Well, let's move on to him. So I'll make a comment again. So him, I really, really loved. Obviously, this was my pick, and I had read this the month before. And when we picked dad or best friend's dad, I was like, ooh, boy, I have one for this. And I really like this author who has a big backlist, and I'd never heard of her before. So I definitely had to bring this one up. Oh, thanks, Lynn. I know the character names for this one because it's mine, but I love you. You're amazing. So this one we have Bay and her friend Georgia they are going to be going to college, and they move to stay with her dad, who her dad's been kept at arm's length because him and her mom, they had her when they were only 16. And so they were married for a while, but then it didn't work out. And the mom has really like kept them apart, which Georgia doesn't really know that her mom like kept her away from her dad. But he makes his home available for Bay and Georgia to live with him while they're going to school. So they are 18 and he is only, I think he's only like 34, 35 because yeah, they had her when they were 16. So pretty quickly, Georgia kind of gets a little bit wild and she ends up joining a sorority and moving out of the house, which number one is like really hard for the dad because he wants to spend time with his daughter. He's been wanting to spend time with her for 18 years. And now she's just moved out. And it's really kind of taking advantage of him too. Like she is a brat. I'll say that. She only like comes home to get money and doesn't listen to his opinion and is going through a rebellious streak is what I'd say. And her mom is kind of always feeding her like bad stuff about her dad. So there's that. So then Bay, the whole reason that they're living with him is to help them save money because she doesn't have to pay full tuition if she's like has a place to live. And so he agrees to like, hey, you don't need to move out just because she ditched, you know? So now these two are living alone at his home. And there's a really strong attraction between them, of course. And he tries to go on dates and find other people, but he's just not jiving with anyone. And then things kind of explode between them. And what I really loved about this one, so obviously this is a 5-star for me. Like I'm not even going to pretend that I'm not going to gush about this because I loved it. Is a lot of things that I like. I like that it is more extended over time. Like they don't just like dive into everything. Yes, this is hilarious. One of the first days that she's there, her like sex toy like falls out. And so there's a couple times he overhears her using her sex toys, which was really hot, not gonna lie. I love whenever those come up because women have stuff. It's true. They're not, anyway, it's a thing. And especially young women when they're figuring out sexuality and life and things. So I like that it took its time like building between them. Like it didn't just like go crazy right away. I also liked that they talked a lot. There was a lot of communication between the two of them. I like that they both were worried about Georgia. Obviously Blake knows a lot more about her mom than like Bay knows. And yeah, I just really liked it. So Tamika didn't finish this one, which is okay. Like you can tell us why you disliked it in a second. It's totally fine. Some people do. But the things that I love, like I said, I like it takes their time. I liked when they went to her family and that her aunt could like see what was going on. And that she actually got to like tell her mom kind of like the mom kind of assumes, but also she like tells her mom. So her mom is like prepared about it and can see that it's a good relationship. Yes, Heather, I agree. I think that they do have a healthy relationship as it goes on, besides it being a secret for a while. And so still we have like the angry parent though, which I know because he fight, but I don't hold that against them because it's different. How do you tell your dad than how do you tell your best friend? Like in this one, I feel like they just didn't tell her until she's like, are you sleeping with my dad? You sleep with my dad. Okay. You know, and that's kind of a cop out to me. I agree that I wish they would sit down and tell people instead of just people figure it out because we can't keep our stuff in our pants and everyone just figures it out. But yeah, I just rant a lot. I like that they were taking care of each other. Like it wasn't as like the sex was good in this too. Like I like that. But I like that it was a slow build into things and that their trust with each other was like growing over time. Instead of just a hot like one night stand that turned into, oops, I accidentally am with my daughter's friend. Whereas this was a conscious choice that I know who you are and what you represent, and I'm still going to choose it. So there we go. That's my long rant. So, and I'll tell you how it ends after you tell me what you thought about it, because you didn't know how it ends. So I'll tell you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna start with the stuff I liked about it.
Okay.
I did like I liked Georgie in the beginning. Like before she started going out and like ditching her best friend. And I liked Bay. I liked that she loved photography, and I love that she would like she loved that so much, and he would like Blake would let her like take pictures of him and all that stuff. So I liked that. And I liked their attraction to each other. However, I felt like it was there were some things I didn't like. I really didn't like was the I felt like it did the not like the other girls thing, or like the just some of the wording for how they talked about like sexuality, and how Georgie was like sleeping with people, and how they was like she didn't have the same standards or whatever. I really didn't like that. And I didn't like that it just it felt I didn't like the writing. And that sounds really bad because I usually don't care about writing, but this one was really hard for me. Like just some of the word choices got under my skin. Like describing a condom as soggy just really got on my nerves. So
yeah, but it gave you a feeling.
It gave me a feeling, I'll tell you that. It was a feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't have too much I don't know, I didn't have much of an issue with their relationship, other than I felt like I didn't connect to their relationship, but I think at that point I had already kind of checked out because I was getting irritated with like the stuff of some of the word choices and the way that and I felt like both characters did it. I thought Blake and Babe both kind of did that. The way they talked about sex and the way they talked about other people. But when he talked about her doing it, it was fine. I don't know. It was different, and I didn't like it. But
yeah.
I think if that wasn't in there, I would have really liked this book.
Yeah.
Because I really liked the fact that they were like it was like a slow build, and it wasn't like immediately jumping each other and ripping all their clothes off, and it actually felt like they were developing a relationship.
Yeah. Well, because for this one, I have this marked here. It's 40% before there's even a sex scene between them. So I feel like that, it's just such a difference compared to Cherry Bomb, where they're meeting on a one night stand.
Yeah.
So, that's just that's two different setups of how the story is happening. And I always love the story where, whenever it's like we both know that we shouldn't be doing this, but the attraction ends up becoming too much that we just have to, because they're both aware of what they're risking by doing this. Yeah. And I liked that. Though I agree, I feel like Georgie is really exaggerated in the beginning and the middle. And then at the end with Georgie, I actually like wanted to read like a novella or something from Georgie's point of view, like her relationship with the boyfriend that she has and what's happening. I was like, I would like to see a little bit of this from her head, with like going to have a baby the same time as her best friend, but it's also going to be her half sibling. Like that's a lot of stuff to deal with in your head. Like it is. And yes, this was something that like Lynn was messaging a little bit as she was reading it, and she was saying some of the same things as you. And my like not clap back to it, because I agree. The way that it felt to me is that it's not so much that I see Blake as being hypocritical about it. I see him as being like, you're reminding me of your mom and it scares me. And so he doesn't handle that well. Like, he shouldn't take that out on Georgie the way that he kind of does. He shouldn't like slut shame his daughter or anything. But I can see where he would be fearful of seeing the same patterns as his ex-wife, who when we get to meet her, which you hadn't like really met her yet where you were at. But once we meet that woman and you see like, and she even turns on Georgie. Like that's the thing that snaps Georgie out of her funk is that her mom like humiliates her and hits her when they're home for Thanksgiving. And it kind of makes her like, oh, wow, well, maybe some of the things my dad was saying are true. So it's not that I like want, like Georgie should be able to have as much sex as she wants, just like Bay is. It's just her like attitude towards it that I think scares her dad the most, which is the attitude he sees in her mom. So I don't generally get as like deep into these as we are, but that's what book club is for. But that's one of the things that stood out to me, whereas like I'm more sensitive now than I was a year ago, even to how we were talking about the other women in the books. But in this case, because of the like, I don't want to say trauma, but like the life experience that Blake has had with Georgie's mom, I can see why he's being more anxious about her than Bay, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I felt like Bay did it too, though. That was another issue that I had was Bay kind of pulled that. It's not like she's not like other girls because of Georgie and the standards, but yeah, and I get that with the whole that's her dad and he's like kind of allowed to be more protective of her, but it just, I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I also, so not like other girls trope, I don't mind it. I know a lot of people hate it. That's the thing too. I know so many people do. And I'm always like, oh, I kind of like that one because maybe I'm like a snob, but I like to feel sometimes. Everyone wants to feel sometimes like, oh, I'm not like other people. It's not good. Like I'm not saying it's healthy, but also a lot of the taboo books we're going to read aren't healthy. So yeah. I don't want that in real life. But for me, I like that a little bit of like old soul in there. And I like that I have other worries than you have, you know, and shy. Like I think Bay's really shy too. So the way that she's thinking about it is she's like, your dad brought you here and is doing this. Why are you acting like this? You know, and maybe that comes across as her being kind of bitchy about her friend. And she is only 18. And that's the trouble of dating someone who's 16 years younger than you is they're not always going to be as mature as a 27-year-old would be. I don't know. Interesting. Let's see some of these. Yeah, I feel like Bay was an old soul, which I relate to. I didn't have a rebellious stage. It's true. I'm the same still. I never did anything until, well, I still haven't done, I haven't had a rebellious phase yet because all I did is stay home and read books. So I feel like I get my rebellious phase out by reading taboo things. I mean, some of my like family would probably think I'm being a little rebellious because I'm a good Christian girl and I still see myself as one. I don't think you need to be either. Like, I don't think whatever. Avery and I have had this conversation before too, but I think this is my rebellion of like, I'm going to read all the raunchy sex books that I can and just, keep myself in real life free of STDs and problems, but I'll vicariously live it all out. That's just me, just spitballing. Well, thank you, Coralie. I support you too. I don't mind the not like other girls trope specifically if they're good to other women. Yeah, and that's where kind of the problem might be then. And it's weird too because like Bay has pretty supportive family is a thing too. It's just that they are kind of going through some yes. Yeah. Anyway,
have you read The Necromancer's Bride?
Yep. And I've read Skeleton King. Can you have rebellious phase once you move out of your parents' house? What? Oh, I mean, I haven't lived with my parents a long time. I don't know what you mean by that one. Is it Aaron watching? Who's watching today from the Book Brood? Are you both watching? Tell me who's talking. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because nothing I've done is, but yeah, living vicariously through books. I get my biker fix and my bad boy billionaire fix and my daddy kink fix. I get it all. That's what this is for. But okay, any other thoughts? Yeah, Tinka doesn't have a rating for this because she DNF'd. I don't know if you probably don't feel compelled to keep going, and that's okay. The ending of this, that's the thing. The ending of this. So he ends up proposing to her. There's sex on a motorbike in this one. That's pretty hot. He drives a motorcycle and has a leather jacket. And when he takes her out on their first like real date, he like wears the leather jacket and takes her out, which is really cute because she's like, oh my God, I've wanted to be on the motorcycle the whole time. And it's so cute. And then later on, like there's a little bit of a time jump, and then he proposes to her. And then she finds out that she's pregnant the same time as Georgie. And then the epilogue is them, they have a double wedding in, like they do a, what's it called? They do a destination wedding with her family. And then there's a double marriage there, a double wedding.
I will say one of the things I really liked about this book was that she was trying so hard so that he could be happy. Like trying to like help him like find someone in the beginning when he was on this dating apps. Yeah. I did love that about her.
Yeah. I like that she went on a couple dates with this other guy and he wasn't a bad guy. Like he didn't try to assault her or do anything to her. I know but that's like a trope I feel like happens in these ones, is she tries to date someone and they're just like a pig or something. And he was just this sweet guy from her class who she's like, I'm sorry, I'm just not feeling it. Like, that's cute. I think that's on. I love the motorcycle. Yeah. The reason I brought it up, Heather, is so there's a video that I'm doing where I had, I put it on my page where I said, give me random, like where people have sex prompts. And one of them was on a motorcycle. And so this one I recommended for that. I actually found a couple where people have sex on a motorcycle. That's fun. I wish there would have been more scenes with a motorcycle. This is true. I like a man in leather. I mean, that's what my MC romance is. That's what you need to get on the MC romances, Monet, if you're not reading those, because that's fun. I always am weirded out when they call people their old lady, though, even though that's the term for your person, where you have like this 19-year-old girl and she's like, that's my old lady.
Okay, so I had a guy I worked with he love him. He's precious. He has an accent thicker than mine, and he would always call his fiance his old lady. And I'm just like, I just need someone to call me their old lady. Like it made my heart so happy. It was so cute.
Yes, the Crossfire. Oh, you're funny. Yes, I just finished that, Heather. I finished the Crossfire series. She likes to have sex in moving vehicles. So an elevator, car, an airplane, the limo. She likes to have sex in vehicles. That's funny. That's what she was talking about. This is funny. My boyfriend actually moved in with my dad and I when we got married, and moved out when we got married, and had the babies. That's funny. Okay. All right. Well, any other thoughts on him? Or we're going to get to announcing the trope and books for September, which there's been hints about it on my social medias lately, because I went, once we picked what it was going to be, I read like 10 of this trope. I was like, ooh, I haven't read too many of these. Let's see. Okay. So, let's see what this is. 1 second.
I'm so excited. Like, I'm going to be you this time, and I'm probably going to start reading this book as soon as we talk about it.
Good. I hope that too.
So excited.
Oh my God. Oh, well, here we go. Great job, Stella. So we're doing Incest for September. You're brilliant. Yeah, I've been reading a lot. September is the Incest one. Yes. Yep, that's right. So my pick for this is probably the most popular incest book you've heard about, and that is The Wild by Kay Webster. So I read this one this month, and I want to read it again. And we wanted to announce these far ahead of time because they're not on Amazon. You'll still be able to find the ebook on the author's website or on Eden Books. I'll put this stuff, on our socials and everything once we're done with it.
Yeah.
And there's also a sequel to this called The Free. If you end up loving this one and want to read the second, because they're pretty short books, feel free, because we may end up talking about both of them if Tamika reads the second one as well. But this is a father-daughter wilderness incest book. And I loved it a lot. Kay Webster, man, she likes to mess with you. So yes.
Listen, I went and messed myself up, so you should like keep talking a little bit so I can find this book on Goodreads because I've already lost it.
Oh, the one you picked?
Yeah, I can't find it.
That's okay. I know what it's called. Like they can.
Oh.
Like,
then you should just tell me what it's called because I can't remember the name.
Document, Tamika. Do you have our
document? I'm a hot mess.
Yeah, I'm organized.
Oh, I've got it. We're good.
You're already 30% through it. Well, great. And that's the thing with this one. I think that maybe a lot of people have read this, but like I said, we're planning now to be doing like recommendations for the trope each month. So when I do my announcement video for it, I'm also going to have other recommendations of incest books I have read and ones that I want to read so that we can, talk more in general about the trope at these book club meetings, live shows, instead of just that. So Tamika, why don't you announce your book?
So it's called Like Butterflies, and it's by Kay Webster and Daniel James. And this one is brother sister, and they share a dad. So
absolutely, yes.
I'm so excited. I don't think that one's on Amazon. I think that one you have to buy through the website. Also, YouTube's gonna hate me because they're gonna hate me, and they're gonna hate you because of this book club.
Oh, I don't care. Like I said, our channels are both small enough that them withholding money from this isn't big enough to hurt.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to cancel your channel because you make a book about it. But I'm planning to be creative with labeling it. Like, I'm not going to call it incest recommendations. I'm just going to say, like, Taboo Book Club. And then maybe I'll say, like, family love. I'll call it. Because that's the thing. Sometimes you get it by them. Like, if you use certain words, they'll automatically flag your videos. But if you, like, change things, then they don't. But anyway, they're not going to hurt us enough to do anything. But anyway, so, yeah. So, also something I want to clarify, incest temper. Oh, my gosh. Heather. Thank you so much. Thank you, romance, for helping me not feel like such a weirdo for enjoying a good incest trope now and then. Okay, so here's the thing. This is the little rant I'm going to go on right now about this. So I read The Wild and the Free and Hail this month, which is a brother-sister romance by Kay Webster. I didn't like Hail as much, but not because it was incest. I just didn't like the story that much. And then I went down a rabbit hole and I read a bunch of Daniel James, but I didn't read Like Butterflies yet, but I read a bunch of hers. And the thing is, there's actually not many, and I'm sure this is because like I'm getting them from KU. So there was actually only one other one I read that was actual incest, because step siblings and step parents, that's not incest. Because incest is only incest if you actually share blood. It can be socially considered incest, and you could say, oh my gosh, that's incest if you were raised with your stepfather your whole life or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I would kind of agree, like we'll get into that because we're gonna do steps at some point in the future too, because I love that trope as well.
I can't
yes, but actual incest, you share blood and is illegal to a certain point. But you being with a step parent or brother or sibling or whatever isn't the same thing as actual blood sharing. So from my like research and the books I've read, I've only read 3 that they actually share blood. Otherwise, most of them I've read have been step, which still shares kind of the same taboo, except they're able to use the excuse, oh, we don't share blood. And with incest, you can't.
Are you laughing at my dogs?
No, I'm laughing at myself.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you're like running around.
List. Are we getting a list of the Metro books? Yes. So number 1, we're going to, like I said, in our announcement videos, which now I'm laughing at your dogs. We'll do that. Also, the books mentioned in this trope will be put on the Discord. So Prissy, I don't know if you're in our Discord group, but it's under my Discord, which you can find in any of my videos. And then there is a Taboo Book Club tab. And we will put any recommendations we talked about in there. So, yeah. But we're really excited. Tamika was like, oh, I really want to read this book. And I was like, well, we can do Incest for September if you want. Let's do it.
I'm so excited.
Like dragonflies, is it? Oh, it's like butterflies.
Oh, is it butterfly?
I'm pretty sure it's like butterflies, honey.
It is butterflies. I'm stupid. I'm sorry.
Yep. It's Like Butterflies by Kay Webster and Daniel James. And again, I will post this very soon. Tamika's working on the art, and we'll do like Instagram posts again and announce everything. So yeah. But I'm really excited. Have any of you, it sounds like some of you have done Incest before. Has anyone been afraid to try it? Or are you willing to read these? Or are there some people are just like, it's too far? You can be honest. None of us will be mad. We all have a line that's too far. I just want to see what people think. See what some people think. And then. But
it's like dragonflies on her website.
Oh.
Yeah, hold on. Can I send a link in the chat? Can I do that?
Of course you can.
It won't let me.
Oh. You can't do it from the YouTube?
No, I just tried. Hold on. Can I just put it in a comment? Is that a possibility?
Yeah. Well, otherwise, oh yeah, try doing that. Otherwise, put it in the, because I'm gonna make. I already made the pages for it. I just haven't made them live yet on the Discord because I was waiting till after we announced.
Okay. Let me.
So as soon as we're done with this, you can go to the Discord and you'll see them, because I'll do what I did for him and Cherry Bomb. I'll post them with the picture and what it looks like. Excited to try it. Yes, I'm excited for you too. So here's the thing is, like, I had never read an Incest before August, because I read The Wild was my first Incest book. Well, did I read The Wild before? No, I didn't. I hadn't read it yet, because I was nervous too. I was nervous to try it. But then I got these given to me by one of my subscribers. She was going to give her copies away. Somewhat nervous to try it. Sweet. Lynn, we know you're cool with it. And so I went ahead and tried it, and I loved it. And the thing is it's just another level of angst. It's just like the highest level of angst, because what could be more forbidden than falling for your dad? Like, I can't think of one too much more forbidden than that. And this one, I mean, she starts underage too, but they're in the wild. Like, that's kind of like what the tagline is like, when all you can do is survive, like, who's to tell you your love isn't right? So, you know, there's voyeuristic elements to the trope that is thrilling. Ooh. That makes me excited. Yeah. I've only read 2 books. One is forbidden, and the other one, they were cousins, but I forgot the name. Yeah. So, and the Incest I've read is, I've read this one, which was a father-daughter. I've read a cousin, and then I've read an uncle and a niece, which that will be on my recommendations video. But I also have talked about it a bunch this week. It was really good.
Forbidden will be on my recommendations list.
Yeah.
Really sad that you don't want to read it, but I understand why.
Maybe someday.
Don't want your heart destroyed, and I get it.
That is true, Stella. The most intense parts of The Wild are not the incest. So definitely check out trigger warnings for this. I will put them on the Discord. There is sexual assault and rape trigger warnings.
Is it on page?
Yes. Okay. The rape is on page. It's very quick, and that person gets brutally murdered, but there's rape. Also, like, the elemental stuff, like, it's kind of graphic. Violence isn't the right thing, but, well, yes. So it's intense. Look up the trigger warnings. And the incest is the least of them. So, yes, the one that is uncle and niece, and he was a psychologist. Yes, that was beautiful. And there's self-harm in that one, so be careful. But yeah, okay. Well, now, I mean, we'll talk about incest next month. I'll we can always talk about it in our Discord too. That's what it's for. It's been really fun. We'll get all the, links for everything, and we'll get that announced. If you're not in the Discord already, make sure you get there. We're always putting up recommendations for that. We're happy to talk about it anytime. These are our like favorite things to talk about. So yeah, I love it. This is so fun. We did it, Tamika. We talked about it on YouTube.
I love it. I can't wait to talk about it next month.
I know. I can't believe, I knew people would like this. That's why you were a little nervous. You were like, I don't know who's going to watch it. But
yeah.
I was like, there's people. I was like, I can name at least 10 who specifically ask me, your recommendations aren't dark enough. Give me darker. I'm like, there's still I'm working into. So hopefully this will get me to brave it up. We'd also like to know, you can send this on our Discord, like what taboo tropes you're interested in.
Yeah.
Because we know what our favorites are.
We didn't do the scale.
The what?
The scale. The taboo scale.
Oh yeah. Do you want to
do it?
This is like way up there. I think this is her most taboo. So she's talking about the Sierra Simone's taboo scale. I don't know if anyone's seen that before.
I'm pulling it up. Is there a way you can put this on the screen? I don't think there is.
I think there's. Do you have the share screen option?
Yeah. Hold on.
It works.
Jesus, you all are gonna make fun of my desktop. Hold on.
I think I can pick this option, and then if you share.
Give me 1 second. I'm working on it.
We'll do this at the top of the show next. Yeah, age gap isn't too big.
Oh, okay. Don't show this again. Thank you. How do I do this? Oh God, is this working?
I'm not seeing anything. Did you share screen?
Hold on, I'm working on it. Did it work?
No. I think I have to do it. We'll try it next time because I'm not, or maybe I can. Now we're just yapping, everybody. Hold on. Sierra Simone taboo scale. I think I'm the presenter person. Hold on. Woo! Okay. Let me try. Share screen. Don't show these tips again. Share my screen. Share screen.
Did it work?
Hold on. Oh no. Should have figured this out.
Okay, it's wanting me to quit my Google Chrome. I can't do it.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
All right, there we go. It's hard to see because I can't see if I can zoom in. Okay, let's see. Where is age gap? Friend, sibling, stepfather, actual brother, actual father. We'll get there.
There's dad's best friend.
Where?
Right there in the middle is dad's.
Dad's. Oh, sex with your doctor, stepbrother. Go. Here we go. Dad's best friend, but we want best friend's dad. They're different. Well, anyway, this one is slightly on the wrong and not too wild. The scale is so fun. The top left one. Oh. Sorry, I have to read this ahead of time. I feel I'm exposed. Sex with shifters. Well, in his one. I just love that she made this. Cressley Cole after 3 pots of coffee. Sex with a priest. This is awesome. So we're gonna go through all of these eventually. That was fun. Cool. All right. Well, next time we'll show this at the jump of it. But obviously you can see actual father. How come stepfather's only slightly less wrong? I feel like it's way less wrong than actual father or mother, actual brother.
Oh, I have one for Guardian Ward that we should read, and we should do one.
Daddy King's like right in the middle. Guardian Ward.
Yeah.
Oh, someday.
I want to do that one soon, and I have a book for it already.
I just read one too that I would pick. So.
Oh, that would be so fun.
We'll get there, man. It's gonna be great. Okay. All right. We meet at this time. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll get all this information out to you guys. This was so much fun. You're the coolest. And keep reading Taboo things. It's fun. Good night, Tamika. Good night, everybody. Thanks for
being here. Good night, everyone.
Bye.